Hello friends, in this video tutorial, let us see the concept of scheduled queue processing. Now this will be the second video tutorial for the SSAS deployment part. Now for the purpose of this tutorial, let us go to SSMS. Now let us go to the server's properties. So immediately after our first deployment is complete, which is usually without processing, let's go to the server properties and let's configure some of the properties, right? So ideally what we should do is, if we want logging, then we should have our logging related server properties called configured. Okay, so we have specified this database name for our server's logging. Also the log directory is the one where the logs will be created, and force commit timeout. This is the value with the help of which we specify that SSAS should not wait infinitely for retrieving data from the OLTP. Okay, so if there are some locking issues in OLTP, our SSAS server cube will not wait infinitely while processing the cube. Okay, also data directory specifies the place where the data will be stored. Now ideally when we deploy the SQL cube, SSAS cube in our database, it is usually without processing for the first time. So what we have to do, we have to come to the process tab, and usually we have to do the full processing for the first time. We can also go for clear option if we are not sure about the current state of the database. So once we go for the full option, we can go to the change settings, and usually we specify for the first time full load, we specify parallel as the option, which means our all dimensions will be loaded parallelly, processed parallelly, and after that all the partitions of the cubes will be processed parallelly. Also let's click process affected objects. Now it will process the affected objects. So we can also change the behavior for the error logging, right? Error processing. So let's say we don't want to stop for one on the first error, we can specify the value to be 2. We can say ignore error for some of the settings like key not found and all, right? Also we can specify error log path over here, right? So these are some of the settings that we can make. Then let's generate the script and let's process the cube, right? So we are processing the full cube with the full processing for the first time, and the processing has succeeded. Now let's go and view the script. So this is the script for the full processing, right? Usually what we'll do is we will execute the script in the non-business hours. So we generally never process the full cube in business hours. We do it after the business hour, that is in the non-business hours. And how do we execute the script? We go to the query and execute. Okay, as it is a XMLA script, we have to go to query and execute script. So we have executed the script again for the full processing, and it has processed the full cube again. Now let us close this. Now what after the full cube processing? We have to then every time process the cube incrementally, right? So for that we go to the process default option. Default option is for incremental processing of data. So for the default option also we can go to change settings, and during incremental processing we will generally go by sequential and process in separate transactions. Okay, so we want the processing to be done in separate transactions, and that too sequentially during incremental load. Also we can similarly specify values for ignoring error, right, or some error specific configurations, and we can generate the script. So this is the script for incremental processing. So it is indicated by process default. So this is for the incremental processing. Now usually we like to schedule this script to run automatically in background after every few hours, right? So how to do this? We can do this with the help of jobs, that is SQL Server agent jobs. So let us create a new job. Let us provide a name for the job, SSAS incremental processing. So let us go to steps. Let us create a new step. let us provide a name for the step, SSAS incremental processing step 1. Now the type of this job will be command. There is SQL Server Analysis Services command. Okay, and we will require the script, right? So for the server name, let's go to connect tab and let's copy the connection string for the server, analysis server, and let us specify the analysis server name over here. Now we'll require the script. So let's go back and copy our script again. This is XML script. So we have copied it and we'll paste it over here. And remember, this is a of type command, analysis services command. Now the job is almost configured. Let us specify a schedule. Let us specify a new schedule. So let's name the schedule SSAS incremental schedule 1. Okay, we want this to be a recurring schedule and we want this to execute daily after every 6 hours, right? So let's configure that. Okay, and optionally we can also specify notifications if we want to receive emails on job success or failures, right? So almost everything is configured for the job. So our job is the last one, SSAS incremental processing. The only problem with this job is right now it is configured to run under the default service account, and this is not a good security practice. So it should ideally run under a SQL Server Analysis Services command proxy, right? So how to do this? So first of all, let's go to security logins. We already have a login for administrator which has got the necessary privileges. So let's go to credentials. Let's create a new credential. Let's name the credential. So SSAS incremental credential. And for the identity, we will specify the Windows login name that we want this credential to use. Let's specify the password. Okay. So we have created the credential with the help of login. Now with the help of credential, we will create proxy. So let's go to proxies. Let's create a new proxy. Let's name the proxy. This time we will create the proxy of type SQL Server Analysis Services command. Okay. Let's provide the credential which we have just created. So this is the credential. So let's provide it. Now the type of this credential will be SQL Services command. So let's click that. Okay, now our job has been configured. So now let's go to the job and let's execute the job. Let's see once again, see the properties. So everything is configured properly. It has been configured. Okay, we have not set the proxy, right? So let us set the proxy. Okay, so now it will run with the help of our newly created proxy account, right? So now everything is configured properly for the job. It will not run under default service account. It will run under the proxy that we have created. So now let's go to the job and let's execute the job. So as you can see, the job has executed successfully. Let's go to its history. Let's maximize. So we can see that the job has executed successfully. Okay, and it has executed with the help of administrator Windows login that we have just specified with the help of proxy and credentials, right? So I hope friends, this video tutorial on how to schedule SQL Server Analysis Services incremental processing is useful to you. Thank you.